You want to see the USA? You want to have a ball? Get an RV and a plan, and you can see it all. Welcome back to My Travel Window. Our goal is to help you travel earlier, later, further, and deeper. The four sides of what we call My Travel Window. Up until now, this channel has been focused on international travel and on cruising. Today, we're going to pivot to something closer to home, RV travel. Take a look at this map of what's sometimes called the 48 continental or contiguous states. Each one of the 130 dots on this map represents a place where my wife and I have camped in an RV. We traveled through each of the 48 states. We camped overnight in all but a handful of them. How long did it take? The answer may surprise you. Looking at the map, you'll notice there's three different colored lines which represent three consecutive RV journeys, each starting and ending in our hometown in eastern Washington state. The first, shown here, was a 12-month trip featuring families and parks. It started the day after I retired. In the months leading up to that day, we sold our house, furniture, cars, and all but a small storage shed worth of possessions, becoming full-time RVers. Here's how we came up with our itinerary and why. So what you see here is a wall map of the United States. We went out to Amazon and bought this. It's a map made for schools, and we had a year to plan this. So what we did, put this map on the wall, and then we began adding the sticky notes that you see here. The big pink ones on here are the places in the country we had family. We decided a good part of our trip was to see the family that we rarely ever got to see. If they didn't come to us, we'd go to them. The second part that's on here, you see, are the purple, the smaller purple. We decided that we wanted to go see national parks, and so we highlighted national parks we'd like to see. We had some events we wanted to see, like the Albuquerque Balloon Festival. One of my passions in life is to go to all 30 major league ballparks. At the time of my retirement, I had been to 14, and so we began to put in ballparks that I wanted to. But it gave us time to look at this and say, are we missing anything? What about this? What about that? Do you want to go there? And then we began to think about timing. So what we're starting up here, and our ultimate goal after a year is to wind up over here. My wife wanted to go to Prince Edward Island, the home of Anne of Green Gables. So we laid out a map and we said, well, if you're going to travel in an RV, travel in the places that's comfortable. So northern half of the United States in the summer, southern half of the U.S. in the winter, so you don't have to worry about freezing, all the temperature issues. And we're starting in Spokane in August, early August. So then we said, okay, do we have anything that's date sensitive? Well, yeah, we have a family wedding we want to go to, and it's on this date. Right after that is the Balloon Festival in Albuquerque. And then we checked out and discovered we wanted to go to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, and it closes early. So we tried to make it so that we could get there before the close. And along the way, we had arranged to meet two of our kids to go to a Thanksgiving Day game in Dallas. And so those were the only four deadlines that we had on the trip. So with that in hand, we began to lay out the route, which you can't see a lot behind the all the sticky notes, but what I'll do is trace it out for you. We started in Spokane, worked our way over to see relatives, worked our way across to Yellowstone, so now we're in September, weather is still nice, school is out, the park is relatively uncrowded, came down through Mount Rushmore, came down through the wedding, Albuquerque Balloon Festival, North Rim of the Grand Canyon, on down, spent time in the south. So now we're to early November. We're working our way across New Mexico, see more relatives, make the Dallas game, and then continue working across the south while it's cold up north. Wind up going to New Orleans, come up through Shiloh Battlefield, up to see more friends, and made a stop in Branson. More friends, worked our way up, baseball games, worked our way up, and the goal was to go here. Now, that was the plan. Did we make it? Not completely. So I'll show you some maps that show where we planned to go and where we actually went. And was it a success? Absolutely. I'll tell you those details as well. Before we finish, let me invite you to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. It tells YouTube that people like our content and opens us up to more viewers. Thank you. In all, we camped in 27 states that first year, shown here in red, and took a road trip in a rental car through an additional 6, shown in blue. The states covered territory from coast to coast and border to border, but we still needed to fill in major sections of the country. You'll notice we never made it to Prince Edward Island. Instead, we got as far as Cleveland, then turned and headed for home. Why? Well, it was another of the considerations of the travel window. A progressive medical issue finally became impossible to postpone any longer and required surgery. After successful surgery at home and 2 months recovery, we headed out again, this time with a new perspective. Needing the benefits of a warm winter in Arizona, we spent a relaxing 7 months in the South, including an extensive month-long trip down the Oregon coast and through California, our 28th RV state. Returning home amidst the uncertainty of the first COVID outbreak, we decided it was time to transition back to a home base and do more targeted RV travel. So we traded the full-time setup for a smaller 27-foot Winnebago. And in the fall of 2020, amidst the second COVID spike, we took our new RV on another new adventure, traveling from Spokane to Maine, where we enjoyed the fall colors, inland along the Appalachians, down to Florida, up the coast, and across the country home. This 3-month triangle picked up the final 20 states, mostly in the Eastern time zone. So how long does it take to see the USA? In our case, 22 months of actual RV travel, if you take your time. We camped in one place for a month or more at least 5 different times. Over the course of the next several videos, we'll explain how we chose campgrounds, what we saw, questions you should ask. We'll also talk about how and why we changed from the plan, and what we would do differently if we had it to do over again. It's a once-in-a-lifetime journey, and we're still on it. We hope you enjoy it with us. Thanks. Until next time, enjoy the journey.